What's going to happen next, man, with this economy?
Well, basically, you're going to have two things. First of all, you're going to continue to have, let me make a distinction between this economy, what took place in 1929, you had a deflationary depression. That means everything, the prices failed, and people got laid off, and you had just a catastrophe as the Fed tightened the money supply. They tightened the money supply, and there was no money. It's like if somebody choked me here, I'm going to the block where the economy went into a spin downward. We had, 35-40% unemployment. It was just massive soup lines. Well, you're going to have the same thing, but it's going to be a little bit different this time because everything is going to go up in price. Your food, gasoline is going to spin out of control until it collapses. So we just had a flood in Iowa. Iowa is the #1 corn and soybean producer. Chicken, beef, pork. I mean, people are sending their pork and chicken, chicken and pigs to market now because they can't afford to feed them because the corn feed and everything is so high. Why is it so high? One is demand, and the other one is that, can you believe that ethanol is being used for fuel? They're taking food and converting it into fuel. And as a result, people all over the world crying because they can't, it jacks up the price of food around the world. In the Philippines, in Haiti, African nations, everybody's riding because they cannot eat. Just to take a place like Venezuela, inflation is running 30%. Here in America, the real inflation is about 12%. Money supply is 18%, but they tell you, oh, don't worry. The U.S. government and Alliance of Texas say the core inflation is only 4%. Now, anybody that goes to the supermarket or is brain dead knows prices have went up more than 4%. So again, what you have is this inflationary depression, people losing jobs, can't sell houses, and people are going to be wiped out, and the dollar begins to lose its value. Like during the Depression, the dollar gained its value, but this paper money here, you won't be able to buy nothing with it. And unless you have the gold or silver or something to maintain your value, that's the reason why commodity oil is going up, corn, any type of commodity is going up, gold and silver. People say, well, listen, I don't want to hold this. I'm going to invest my money in oil. Oil has doubled in the last year. Do you know what the price of a barrel of oil was in 1999? It was less than 10. That's about, I think it's $10 or $20 a barrel. So oil has went up in almost 10 years. It has almost went up over 7 or 8 times. So you look at yourself and all your commodities, copper, nickel, all these things have increased as people are beginning to, not only as an industrial man, people realize, wait a minute, the dollar don't buy what it used to be. And matter of fact, I'm selling dollars and I'm doing this and that with it. So they drive the price of commodity, trying to escape the depreciation of the dollar. This is the problem that most Americans, middle class, you cannot get them through their thick head that this is declining, and you have to get into assets that are increasing so that you can maintain your purchasing power. And to give you an example of what I'm talking about, in 2002, the dollar lost 35% of its value. What do you mean 35% of the value? You had $10,000 in the bank, you put it in a safe deposit box, it would only be worth $6,500 as of 2008. And if you had gold or silver during that same time, you'd have went up 3 times. Even the euro is almost double against the dollar. So what do you must do? You're going to have to search for wisdom. You're going to have to pray. And most of all, you have to realize, now once this thing breaks loose, the financial situation, inflation does 2 things. Not only does it erode the wages of a person, but morals decline. Folks begin to do anything because of the money dollar. The white collar white guy, he's embellishing money. The guy in the street, he's selling his, he's maybe a male prostitute. Everybody's selling themselves to get some money, and they have to get money fast enough that this is losing value. So again, you have a total corruption mindset where money begins to totally occupy people's mind because they know that the food is increasing, and next month, next week, we're gonna have $5 gasoline, $6 next year. I got to do something to get more money because wages are stagnant. And here in America, where those that have the euro dollar, when we're talking about $1.60, $1.70, they're gonna have a problem, but at least they can buy oil, and it doesn't hurt them as much as it does the Americans because of their purchasing power.
Hey, Dr. Warren, if you became the next president of the United States, what economic policies would you institute to get us out of this economic collapse?
Well, see, if I had it, first of all, I wouldn't take it. I'd resign. They asked Warren Buffett what would happen if he would take the Federal Reserve. He said resign. But what you would have to do, you would have to go in and, first of all, you would have to discontinue the Federal Reserve. Take the Federal Reserve out of the picture. Or what you would do is do what JFK did, which got him killed, was institute honest money. In other words, bring silver and gold back into the marketplace to compete with this. Now, once you start introducing silver coins and gold coins, people would use this, but they would hold their silver coins, but at least it would maintain the value. So the Federal Reserve note would disappear. People would not use it. They would use the gold and silver to preserve their wealth. So that would bring about all our problems, because the people in power, they're always the families, what you call them, the Illuminati, the Skull and Bones, even going back to the time of the ancient Rome. Remember, the wealthy families always control the Senate. When you watch those movies, you know, Brutus, those are wealthy bloodline families. In Pharaoh's court, those were wealthy families. You know, homie in the corner, he was back as a slave. He wasn't up telling Pharaoh what to do. You know, I mean, these were very wealthy bloodline families, and they had monopoly and control of certain trade routes to the Middle East from Egypt. And the same way today, you got the Rockefellers, you got your very Queen of England, you got these bloodline families that control the various parts of industry. They're monopolies, and that's always been the case for the simple reason the middle class does not have the economic education to say, no, we ain't gonna take this. You're not gonna enslave us and keep us as serfs. And this is what happened with General Motors. And let me say this: General Motors today, as of this past week, this is July 6th, General Motors was under $9. That's a 54-year low. General Motors can be bought for $6 billion. When at one time it was an $100 billion company. Can you imagine $6 billion and the Chinese could buy it tomorrow?
But this economic collapse that we're witnessing before our very eyes here in the United States, is it happenstance or is it engineered?
Oh, it's engineered. It's planned.
It is?
And it's being planned.
But why do they want to collapse the dollar?
Well, they want to collapse the dollar to move us into a new world order, one world system. And what they want to replace this with is with an Amero.
Okay.
With an Amero, which is really they're trying to unite Canada, U.S., and Mexico. Mexico would be the cheap labor, Americans would be the brains, and Canada would supply the natural resources.
So they have to collapse the dollar to do that.
They have to collapse the dollar and tell the people, you don't know what, we're going to be put into a European Union, whether you like it or not. And if you can't eat, most people will just sell their soul for a morsel of bread. They can't eat. People say, okay, I don't like, I love the Constitution, but I got to eat, baby. You know what I'm saying?
What's in the best interest of the Illuminati and the power elite to collapse the dollar? I mean,
because they want to control. Well, see, who controls the money controls the world. So they want to be able to control the money supply, where they unite all these nations into one currency. Whoever got the currency controls these countries. You don't have any sovereignty.
Right.
So whoever controls the money supply controls the world. So you control the world. You got one government, one army, and they believe that this will bring about peace and tranquility, whereby they would be the ones that would play God or the rulers behind the scene.
But look in this camera and tell the average American, so I know we have this great military, but we not the baddest game in town. That the greatness of America, as we thought we knew it, it's over.
Oh yeah, well the American Empire is over. What you have now is all the wealth that we have. Listen folks, this is very simple. We sent out $500 billion as oil is shipped immediately to the Middle East, the oil producers. The Chinese are sitting on about 1.5, 1.3 trillion, and most of the wealth is the money, cash money, and the dollars are in Europe and the Middle East. So we're talking about $6 or $7 trillion. So listen, they are the ones that are going to control the show.